Those are non-Arab speaking people that were moved and changed by the Quran. Dr. David Liepert from Calgary, Canada, one of the leaders of the Muslim community in Canada, and actually you should read his book. He has a booklet called Choosing Faith. Amazing. This man is a doctor and he wanted to give Christian da'wah to his fellow Muslim doctors in the hospital. So he said, let me read my book first before I give them Christian da'wah. He said, by the time I finished the Bible, I was out from Christianity, and I was warned always in the church from reading the Quran, because if I read the Quran, I will lose my faith. I read the Quran, I learned what faith is. I tasted the taste of faith for the first time. And this man changed and became one of the leaders of the Muslim community. One moment, in which language did he read the Quran? English. So actually he did not read the Quran. He read the meanings of the Quran, a translation of the Quran that may be 60, 70, 80% accurate. And it guided him. So there is still guidance in the translation. Imam Suhaib Webb. I know I'm a filmmaker and I made 3 films. In 2 of them, Suhaib Webb appeared, and he's a dear friend of mine. And we lived with each other together in Egypt for 6 years. And I'm telling you, Suhaib Webb has a lot of knowledge, mashallah. I consider him maybe one of the most knowledgeable people in the States now, I'm telling you. What was Suhaib Webb before he read the Quran? DJ. He read the Quran, he became Suhaib Webb. I'm telling you. In which language did he read it? English, not the Arabic, wallahi. English language. I don't know which translation he read, how accurate it is, but still there is guidance in it. Sarah Joseph. You know how she became Muslim? Her brother converted to Islam to get married. She was outraged. And she bought a copy of the Quran to read it and show him that he did a mistake. She read it, she became Muslim. Muhammad Iqbal. I'm not sure if his Arabic was well to the extent that he can read the Quran and understand it or not. But he was moved. He is called the poet of Islam in the Arab world. We call him like that. Cat Stevens, Yusuf Islam. Saeed al-Nurasi. Saeed al-Nurasi, the Turkish. Those are people who changed by the Quran, and they are non-Arab speaking people. It's all about tadabbur. What is tadabbur? The word that came in the ayah that says, كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته. A blessed book that I have sent down to you so that they may do tadabbur for its ayat, for its verses. What is tadabbur? The tadabbur comes from the word dubur. And the word dubur, guess what it means? Back. Your back is called your dubur. Tadabbur, and the backs are called dubur because it comes after you. You walk and then comes your back. So tadabbur Quran is what comes after reading the Quran and understanding the Quran. You read, okay, you understood, fine. Do tadabbur now. What comes next? Tadabbur. There are 2 types of tadabbur. A spiritual tadabbur and an intellectual tadabbur. Those are the 2 types that we will learn together, inshallah, how to practice. The spiritual tadabbur is practiced through the heart. Intellectual tadabbur is through reason. Both of them are important, but I'm telling you, the spiritual tadabbur can really save you from the diseases of the heart. Among them is depression. I know that there is something called chemical depression. I'm not telling anyone to stop antidepressants, by the way, and do that. I'm not telling you this. But I have one case that stopped antidepressants through the spiritual tadabbur. Okay? It's easy, by the way. It won't take from us now like a few minutes to explain it. But it's very important that you practice this for about an hour every day. You know, if you go out in the street and you ask any Christian about Christianity, he will definitely tell you Jesus died for us because of the original sin. We as Muslims believe the opposite. We believe that we don't have an original sin. There is an original goodness in us. Allah gave us good hearts that are sound and ready to submit by nature. But there's one problem with these hearts. They die if they are not charged. Like your mobile battery, it dies every day if you don't put it on the charger for about an hour. This spiritual tadabbur is the charger of the heart. You have to put it on the charger, your heart, put it on the charger for about an hour every day. I even suggest half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. Don't stay for 24 hours away from the Quran. It's too much. Too much. You eat 3 meals. And actually, many of us charge twice a day, right? The mobiles. Yeah, charge your heart twice a day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Will they not ponder the Quran, or are there locks upon their hearts? So this says that the heart has something to do here with the tadabbur. And the intellectual tadabbur, Allah said, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Do they not ponder the Quran? Had it been from any other than Allah, they would have found in it much discrepancy, which means that people should also reason, do text reasoning. Okay? But let's talk about the spiritual tadabbur. Who attended Brother Nu'man Ali Khan's lecture yesterday? Good. I turned it on yesterday. I couldn't come, but I watched a bit of it, and I found that he explained the last 10 verses from Surah Al-Furqan. And he spoke about Ibadur Rahman. It's a group of people called the worshippers of Ar-Rahman. And he spoke about the 12 characteristics of Ibadur Rahman, right? Among them is this one. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ لَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا صُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا. And those who, when reminded of the revelations of their Lord, they do not fall before them deaf and blind. Which means they interact with the verses of the Quran. They don't just read it quickly, heedlessly like that. No. Ibadur Rahman are people who don't fall deaf and blind when they are reminded with the verses of Allah. It means they interact with it. This is the spiritual tadabbur. How? Simply by turning the verses of the Quran into dua. You are reading a verse from the Quran. You came across the mention of paradise. Don't continue. Stop and ask Allah, paradise. You came across the mention of hellfire. Don't continue, stop. And ask Allah to save you from hellfire. You came across mentioning a group of good people like the believers, al-mu'mineen, or al-muhsineen, those who excel in doing good, or al-muttaqeen, those who are mindful of Allah. Don't continue. Stop and keep asking Allah to be one of those people. You came across the mention of a group of bad people like al-zalimin, the unjust people, or the fasiqeen, the defiantly disobedient people, or the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, don't continue. Stop and keep asking Allah in your heart to save you from being one of those people. Yeah, but this will take time. I want to finish the Quran quickly. I am actually in a race with my cousins. These are the silly reasons that makes us not ponder the Quran. Yeah, but I want to do a quick khatma. Who told you to do khatma even? Wallahi, we are nearly coming up with a new religion like that. Okay, let me tell you this. Where was the khatma mentioned in the Sunnah? Authentic hadith. Abdullah ibn Amr asking the Prophet, in how long should I do khatma of the Quran? The Prophet told him, 40 days. He said, no, I can do better than that, please. Okay, 1 month. He said, no, please, more. I can do better than that. He said, 10 days. He said, no, please, I can do better than that. The Prophet said, a week. No, please, three days. So he said, I can do better than that. The Prophet reprimanded him. He said, in less than 3 days, you will not understand it. What was the first advice, which is the best advice? The Prophet will always give like the best advice in the beginning, right? 40 days. For who? Abdullah ibn Amr, whom his wife came complaining that he is not dealing with her or the children, or they don't even have any visitors visiting them because he is all the time reading the Quran and worshipping Allah. So we're talking about someone who gives like 16 to 20 hours every day to worship. He doesn't do it. He's worshiping all the time. The Prophet told him, Inna li nafsika alayka haqqan. Yourself has a right on you to give it some rest. وَإِنَّ لِأَهْلِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. And your family have rights on you. The issue is, this person who was completely dedicated for the Quran, one of the 4 Abduls who mastered the sciences of the Quran, the Prophet told him to read the Quran every 40 days, which means less than 1 juz will take from him like 10 to 12 hours. How long for an ayah? Believe me, it's like 5 to 10 minutes for the ayah. The ayah takes exactly 2 seconds from us. That's why it's not working. It's not working. 2 seconds. Quickly. And then in Ramadan, I did 5 khatmas. I did 6 khatmas. I did 7 khatmas. Believe me, that's a new religion. Not the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam at all. We are not in a hurry. If you are going to read the Quran in a hurry, you cannot ponder it. Take your time. Let's take an example. I am now someone who doesn't know Arabic at all, okay? I pretend to be not knowing Arabic and I will read it in English. And let's see if I can ponder it or not. And obey Allah and the Messenger that you may obtain mercy. And raise towards... No, believe me, that's too quick. Stop at the end of the verse and look what it said. And obey Allah and the Messenger that you may obtain mercy. Who's giving you this order? Allah is giving you a command. Receive it with your heart. Ya Rabb. Oh Allah, make me among those who receive your mercy. Deep in my heart I will say that. So when I read that, so that you may receive mercy, so may you obtain mercy. Deep in my heart I will say, oh Allah, make me among those who will obtain mercy. And raise towards forgiveness from your Lord and a garden as wide as the heavens and the earth, prepared for those who are mindful of God. Don't move to the next. Take your time. Look at the verse, how beautiful it is. Gardens as wide as the heaven and the earth. Oh Allah, make me among those who go to Jannah. Oh Allah, make me among the muttaqeen. Make me among the mindful. Make me among those who are mindful of you. Ya Rabb, make me among them. This is what heals the heart. This is how you interact with the Quran. Those who give in prosperity and adversity, and those who restrain anger, and those who forgive mankind, and Allah loves those who excel in doing good. Oh my, can you imagine what was said now? Allah loves those who excel in doing good. How come you don't stop and keep asking Allah to be among them? Allah is telling you, I love that group. How come you continue? Stop. This should like bring the tears to your eyes. Oh Allah, make me among those that you love. Make me among the muhsineen. Make me among those who excel in doing good. Deep inside you read it and you start interacting. This is what the verse in Surah Al-Furqan meant. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ, and those whom when they are reminded with the verses of their Lord, they do not fall deaf and blind. Which means they interact with it. Those, the reward is forgiveness from their Lord and gardens beneath which rivers flow, abiding therein forever. How good is the reward of the workers. Ya Rab, make me among them. Ya Rab, make me among those whom you forgive. Many societies have passed away before you, so travel the earth and note the fate of the disbelievers. You get alerted. Now Allah is telling you something important. Okay, very important. This is a proclamation to humanity and guidance and advice for those who are mindful of God. It's like you're receiving commands now. You're like in an army receiving instructions. Yeah, okay. I'm receiving this with my heart now. And do not waver nor grieve. You are the superior ones if you are believers. I would not waver. I'm not going to. You receive it. Receive every word of the Quran with your mind, with your heart. Interact with it. You come across verses that talk about the hypocrites. Ask Allah not to be of them. Who knows? Who knows? You come across a verse that talks about hellfire. Stop and ask Allah not to be one of them. Okay? And then we will talk now about the intellectual tadabbur. But we have only 5 minutes left for the break, right? Yeah. Let me take during those 5 minutes the questions from you, so that when we come back, we just start with the intellectual tadabbur. Any question? Ladies first. You know it's a sunnah that when I say ladies first? How? How come? The Prophet ﷺ said, give privileges to women. Istawsu bin nisa'i khayran. So, ladies first. Any question? The good thing, yeah.
I know a sister who, when she listens to the Quran, she only listens to Imam Hussein. And always, her reason is that he is so slow that he gives him time to ponder.
That he is what?
That he is so slow
Ah.
that he gives him time to ponder.
Yeah.
Is that a good reason to choose the Quran?
That's a very good question. The lady said she knows a sister who only listens to Imam al-Husari, and she said, I do that because he reads slowly, giving me time to ponder. Number one, Imam al-Husari is the legend. That's what the reciter said, by the way. He is the legend of the Quran because in his mushaf, in his recitation, there isn't one mistake. Many of the very famous, beloved reciters have mistakes that you cannot see it, but some technicians can know it. Some of them reach like 200 in their mushaf, by the way. So this is the legend of recitation, Husari. And it's true that when I do tadabbur, I should listen to someone who recites slowly. Abdul Samad is even slower than the Husari. That's why I listen to Abdul Basit only, not the Husari, because he's even slower, even though Husari is better. But when it comes to choose someone who reads slowly, that's good. But even the slowest one, like Imam Abdul Samad, is too fast for tadabbur. So I have to pause every verse. After he reads it, I pause still, because there's no time. You need time. You need time. And this sister is not wrong. She's good. That's right. But that's not enough for tadabbur. If this sister is here today, by the way, she will start stopping Imam al-Husari after every verse to do tadabbur. Okay? That's a very good question. Thank you. Who else? Wa alaikum assalam.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Allah.
So, for those of us who don't understand Arabic, to read Arabic, do you recommend any particular translation? Because I know some of the older translations are very sort of Shakespearean in their style, and very about
I will speak about the translations at the end of this workshop. I don't want to burn the news for you now, okay? But I'm going to talk about it at the end of the workshop. And yes, I will talk about the translation and how the translation can affect your tadabbur, your intellectual tadabbur. But your spiritual will not be affected still by how good is the translation, okay? Jazakallah khair. What's your name, akhi?
Parvez.
Huh?
Parvez.
Parvez, okay. Jazakallah khair. Huh? A sister, yes.
Would you recommend when reciting the Quran that you use a translation alongside it, or?
Yes, of course. If your Arabic is not 100% use the translation. Even us, people who read Arabic, we use tafsir also to understand it, by the way. So yes, of course, you should. Yeah. Yes. One moment. Yes.
Would you recommend starting from Al-Baqarah, or would you recommend a selection of passages?
Neither nor. Starting from Al-Fatiha.
Or Al-Fatiha?
Yeah. That's a good question. Some people say, from where should I start? Can I read it chronologically? No. Read it as Allah sent it. Allah accepted at the end for us. Yes, it wasn't sent like that, I know, but at the end, all the 23 years of different passages here and there were put all together in that order, and the Prophet ﷺ have done something called al-ardatain, which is he like revised the Quran twice like that. Okay, so I recommend that you read it all the way from the beginning, and today you will see that some verses that you never expected them to inspire you will inspire you when you learn how to do tadabbur. Instructional verses that you never thought that there would be any inspiration in them, you will find inspiration today, inshallah. Yes, sister.
You talked about nafs mutma'inna.
About what?
Nafs mutma'inna?
Yes.
How to get to that. And my question is, as humans, our people go up and down, right? Is tadabbur the way to keep that nafs mutma'inna for the rest of your life?
Okay, I said it, but I said it again. If we do not give enough nutrition and medication for our non-physical part, the soul and the heart, okay? It shrinks and it weakens. And like that, the desires are controlling, and we become nafs ammara bisu, nafs that commands towards obscenity and evil. When we strengthen the non-physical part of us by giving nutrition, which is tadabbur Quran and salah with khushu' and doing dua and adhkar with pondering and understanding, okay, not just heedlessly, we start strengthening the non-physical part of us so that it can control the desires. When the desires are controlled, we become nafs lawwama, which is nafs that is reprimanding when the desire starts to desire evil things. And then when your non-physical part completely takes control, it becomes nafs mutma'inna, because you are giving fuel. You have to keep giving fuel every day. If you don't eat for a day, you feel weak. You have to read the Quran every single day. Yeah, some women say, yeah, but some days we can't read the Quran. Why? Because there's some days when we don't pray. Yeah, if you don't pray, but you don't read the Quran, you read the Quran. How come? How come you stay for a whole week or more without doing dhikr, without reading the Quran? Read the Quran, but not from the mushaf. You just, there's an iPad, there's an iPhone, there's a lot of things. Okay? One more question here. One woman now. We have to equate. You're next, and then we will end with your question.
Assalamu alaikum. Itu Tadabbur, is translation enough, or do we read the tafsir as well?
No, again.
Itu Tadabbur, the Quran, do we need to, is it translation is enough, or do we?
I will talk about that now. This is the intellectual tadabbur. The type of tadabbur that I spoke about, the spiritual tadabbur, you don't need any tafsir for it. You just need to understand what you're saying. Okay? But the intellectual, the tadabbur, we will speak about it right now. Don't worry. After the break. The last question will be from the sister. Wa alaikum assalam. Wait for the microphone.
How important would you say is tajweed in doing tadabbur, learning tajweed?
Okay. Tajweed is very important for the spiritual tadabbur, not the intellectual tadabbur. But for the spiritual tadabbur, it's very important to for those who read Arabic, who understand our reading in Arabic. It's of course it's better. But still, without it, and even those who are reading in English, they can still do tadabbur. Okay. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيكم.